Nothing should get in the way of that residential.
Well, residential is the key. It brings people. Really, it seems like people feed upon people. We have the more. Wait, that didn't sound right.
South Sea Islands, yes.
People breed. And there's more people. There's more. If you see people, then it's a more vibrant place. You want to go to a place where people are. Stop it, Ned. So,
but Mike,
is that the key? Downtown, you've had 10,000 residents now, where you used to have a fraction.
Obviously, creating that mixed-use environment that
huge.
Provides a diversified economic base for downtowns are critical. I mean, there's no going back to the model that we talked about historically. There's no reinventing a massive retail presence that suddenly is going to attract people from all over, with the exception of the design district.
Thank you so much.
But the reality is that there are some strategic things the state can do for us. I mean, let me give you an example. The Ohio Housing Finance Agency made tremendous inroads over a period of decades promoting single-family home ownership, first-time home ownership. Where have most of those dollars gone? They've gone to our exurban areas. They've not gone to townhouses in central cities for the most part. They've not gone into apartment complexes. Those are the types of policy things that we could talk to the state about, change the approaches there and make those things work. Historic tax credits. Cleve talked about the rich history and the rich architectural basis here. We can work with the state to make sure that they expand the state historic tax credit to ensure that we can incent developers, the private sector, to come in and make those investments. So we can, I think from a policy perspective, be very surgical in what we talk to the state about, in addition to the bigger policy issues of, should you widen I-71 on the way to Columbus?
We're going to take a quick break for some announcements, and Ned, you can write down 10 or 20 more punchlines while we're waiting. And Eric Wobser is going to give us one.
I'm going to try to blow through these so we can get back to the riveting panel today. We're listening to a special New Leaders program with Joe Marinucci, Cleve Ricksecker, Ned Hill, moderated by Michael McIntyre. We return to our panel in a minute for our traditional City Club questions. We encourage you to formulate your questions now while we break for a few announcements. We welcome all of you here, especially those who are guests. We hope you will join the City Club and become active in our ongoing civic dialogue. Friday, January 29th, the City Club welcomes Cleveland State University President Ronald Berkman. On February 5th, the City Club is excited to host a discussion between Kevin DeWine, Chairman of the Ohio Republican Party, and Chris Redfern, Chairman of the Ohio Democratic Party. The two will give their thoughts on the 2010 election year and which races to watch. For more information about our forum, please refer to the back of your printed program. To make reservations or order a tape of today's program, please call the City Club at 1-888-223-6786 or 216-621-0082, or visit the City Club's website at www.cityclub.org. We are pleased to welcome guests at tables hosted by Baker and Hostetler and the Downtown Cleveland Alliance, which is also a sponsor of this program, the last of our Downtown Quarterly Series. Thank you. Now, we would like to return to our panel for our traditional City Club question and answer period. We welcome questions from everyone, including our guests. Holding the microphone today is City Club PR and Programs Manager Carrie Miller and Director of Development Jessica Allen. First question, please.
Gentlemen, my question is primarily directed to Mr. Marinucci, but perhaps the others have faced a similar situation, and it's a bit of a devil's advocate problem. I'm on the board at the Cleveland Grays Armory and the museum, and I can tell you that when the renewal came up this year, it was hotly debated. What I heard from many of my colleagues was, we're not on the Euclid Avenue, and we're a nonprofit, and basically we're not valued by the folks that are on the podium. We don't seem to see anything for the assessments we pay. How would you respond to my board colleagues?
Well, one, I'd love an opportunity to sit down with your board and talk with
Joe,
them.
you should better tell him what he was talking about when it comes to the renewal. Some folks might know what that means.
Oh, what I mentioned earlier is we've asked property owners to sign a petition which would allow us to renew the Special Improvement District for an additional 5-year period. We understand that, one, this is a very difficult economic period, and in fact, as we reached out to folks, reached out to property owners, we understand that the decision was a difficult one. Stepping back, as you know, we work very closely not only with Playhouse Square, which is one of your partners to the east, and to the Gateway District to the west. So, we'd be very, very happy to sit down and talk about specifically what the Armory's needs are. And in fact, Lou Frangos, your adjoining neighbor, is one that is on our board and one that we work very closely with on a day-to-day basis. So love to talk with you and love to ensure that going forward, your assessment dollars provide a direct benefit to you.
And when you discuss assessments, this improvement district that you set up, each one of these businesses that are downtown pay a certain amount of money for their front footage, or however the assessment is done. And that money is used for the Clean and Safe program that we see, basically to staff those kinds of operations.
Right. We actually spend about 2/3 of the assessment on the Clean and Safe program. Those are the ambassadors that you see walking the streets of downtown Cleveland. We have two types of ambassadors, the safety ambassadors and the cleaning ambassadors. And to be frank, they provide an overall environment. When we talk to many property owners, when we did this, for example, you can name some properties in downtown Cleveland that do a fabulous job of keeping their sidewalks clean, graffiti-free, secure their properties. But those properties also understood that we needed to invest in a collective effort so that, again, the entire neighborhood, the entire district, in fact, has that additional capacity, that enhanced level of services. So part of it is, is there an ambassador in front of every building? No. And we could not ensure that, nor could Cleveland Columbus.
Let me say, as somebody who's come to Cleveland periodically since I was born, Cleveland before the SID downtown was a mess. And I was shocked when I would come up to Cleveland Indians games or other events up at Playhouse Square. And very little phases me. I'm used to urban environments. I can tell you that downtown Cleveland was dead in the water if it didn't start organizing and cleaning up and eliminating disorder in downtown. The arts wouldn't have survived forever in that environment. And I've noticed a big difference in downtown Cleveland. It feels much more orderly and cleaner and more inviting than it did years ago.
Next question.
Yeah, Joe mentioned the District of Design, and so I'm hoping you will give us a latest and greatest update, and also how the district is supporting the new value proposition of downtown.
Thanks, Sue. Wonderful softball. I love it. District of Design, we're very close to having 3 tenants and launched, and then the recession hit. We're actually giving a report on it tonight at a CSU event tonight. Couple things have come out of the district. Design Lab High School, Jane Addams, directly came out of the district. So we've got a small charter school dedicated to industrial design. Kent State, Cleveland Institute of Art, and a little bit of Cleveland State made that happen. Terrific success.
What do you mean by the district?
The District of Design is an idea using Euclid as a spine, focused on Playhouse Square, to bring primarily the industrial design professions and studios and showrooms to downtown Cleveland. The Cleveland Institute of Art is ranked either 1 to 3 in industrial design in the nation. University of Cincinnati is also a top 3 program. Carnegie Mellon's top 5 program. 1/3 of all industrial designers in America come from Ohio, either educated here or born here. Strange facts. We've got 65 companies in the northern tier of the state, which are globally recognized consumer brands, and all of them say the same thing. As we outsource production, the value is in the design of the product itself. And we're having trouble getting designers. Meanwhile, I should throw OSU and Columbus Institute of Art, particularly on the furniture side, in that mix. We then talk to these great kids and say, why aren't you staying in Cleveland? Why aren't you the next Nottingham and Spurk or the next Victor Schreckengost? And the kids say, we need to be a place where there's a design culture. So we are working, and the designers are now going back and forth and trading ideas across firms, but a design culture is built around a physical place. Playhouse Square is launched and invested money in the district. You're rehabbing a building on 13th and Euclid. The Kent State Urban Design Center is a tenant. And many of you hopefully saw the Plain Dealer Monday about our bus trip where we reached out to the Amish furniture community. What we're doing is we're introducing architects and builders to what's in Holmes County. In Holmes County is 433 furniture factories. We probably produce more hardwood furniture in Ohio now than it's done in North Carolina, and more valued millwork. With LEED certification, by sourcing locally, you get more LEED points. So we're working very closely with the Amish community. It's actually not Amish, it's the Hardwood Furniture Builders Guild. They're liberal, they let the Mennonites in. And because, again, they have the same thing. As the number of retail distribution channels narrows, they have to go global. It's great when you see a guy in denim and a straw hat look at you and say, can you take us global? We wish people in Cleveland would do that.